What is up, guys? It's Carly here bringing you day 15 of my 25 days of Christmas horror, and today I am going to be talking about one that came out the year I graduated high school, which was almost 10 years ago, which is sick, but that is Krampus from the year 2015. Yes, Krampus. I forgot I had this actually on Blu-ray, or I think I knew I did, I just kind of forgot to dig it out until now, but anyway, yeah. So this movie is one that I missed in the theaters when it came out. So, like I said, I don't know if this. I was I don't know when this came out exactly. I don't know if I was still in high school or graduated yet. 2015 is the year I graduated, but it might have came out closer to December. So either way, I wasn't really going to the theater too much at that time. I mean, I kind of was, but not like a ton. So I missed this one when it came out, but ended up watching it a few years later. And I believe this is from the director of Trick or Treat, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the movie follows a family. It's Christmas, obviously, and they have family coming from out of town to stay with them for the holidays. And of course, it's one of those typical stories where you have the families kind of get on each other's nerves, as families do. They don't all necessarily get along. It's kind of chaotic. There's a lot of kids because there's, two kids in the family hosting, and then the family coming has four of their own that are kind of obnoxious. And it's just like this big thing. And then you have the one little kid, or he's not, he's probably like 10, 12, something like that, Max, from the family that is hosting, who writes a Christmas letter pretty much just saying that he wishes things would go back to the way they were before, and he misses how close the families used to be and when they weren't always at each other's throats. And, he puts all these different wishes in it for everyone. It gets out around the Christmas table. He gets humiliated and he is upset, throws the letter out his window, I believe, in his bedroom, and then one thing leads to another, and suddenly this big storm hits. I believe it's on Christmas Day at this point. A big, it's just like really foggy and ominous looking outside, like end of the world looking. There's it's just like a whiteout essentially. The power goes out, and the daughter, she is worried about her boyfriend because she can't get a hold of him now, and just wants to make sure he's okay. So she leaves to go check on him. And while she is out, she notices something scary out on the earth, and kind of goes from there. This family starts to fight to survive the night, holiday, and forever. Yeah, so what do I think about this movie? I really like the beginning portions of it. It's kind of funny. It begins with tis the season type of thing with Black Friday happening and people being trampled, because that was still a big thing back then. I feel like that doesn't happen as much now, and more so people shop online and they've done stuff to prevent people from going that crazy. But you get that montage at the beginning where people are attacking each other and everything. So that's great. And then you get into the family. You have Toni Collette, who's always a really great actress. And there's some funny moments in it. What's his name? Adam Scott plays her husband, and there's just, like I said, there's like little just jabs where I believe it's the grandma's baking all these cookies, and then he's like, hey, don't don't put yourself out. We bought a bunch of cookies at the store while she's baking like a million cookies, and just annoying stuff like that would probably happen in a regular family. And then, of course, the other family shows up, which is the mom's sister, I believe, and their uncle, who is a complete knockoff of the uncle from freaking Christmas Vacation and the Vacation movies. Don't kill me, but is it Uncle Eddie? Or is that the guy's name in this? I'm bad. Like, the Vacation movies, I'm not a big watcher of, to be honest. So, but the uncle in this is like that obnoxious kind of hick. Like, the whole family kind of is. Like, you could tell there's definitely nods to Christmas Vacation in this, where they're just annoying, and you get the idea that, the aunt and uncle struggle a little bit financially, and they have all these kids, and they have, like I said, a hillbilly, tomboyish persona going on throughout the whole family and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that stuff, and I like the bickering around the table and things like that. I like all of that. So really, it's when you kind of get into the Krampus elements and things start to take off and turn more horror is when I don't really care for the movie so much. Yeah, this is one that I've never really gotten super into. I always find that I am taken out of it as it kind of gets into it, really, like, gets into the horror elements, because the beginning kind of plays like a comedy. And I remember when this trailer came out thinking like, I think I even thought to myself, is this a new like vacation movie, like, or is this a remake or something? Because that's kind of, the trailer like plays like funny at the beginning and then like gets into the horror elements, and that's how the movie plays out. Just not a big fan of it. I feel like it's a little dark. It's another one that suffers from being a little too dark at times, to where you can't really always see what's going on. I like the look of Krampus. I think he's creepy, and they did a good job with him. You don't see him like a ton like up close, but when you do, I think he's pretty scary and menacing looking. And that's, you have a lot of these knockoff movies, as I've mentioned before, of the Krampus films, and they just look ridiculous. It's like bad makeup or a horrible mask. But in this movie, they did a good job with him. I like the snowed in elements to it, but just, I don't know, it just kind of slows down and loses steam for me, and it's like the whole middle portions, I'm kind of like, I wish this would hurry up and get to the end, and then the end is okay, and ominous and stuff like that, but, yeah, this just isn't one that I love, and I know a lot of people do really enjoy it. I know people don't like it too. I mean, there's elements that are weird in this, like you get, animation of these gingerbread cookies coming down and attacking, and it plays as kind of cutesy in a way. And then you also get like this animated backlog for the backstory for the grandmother character, and it's like a flashback and it's animated. And I could see that being jarring for some people. For me, I used to kind of think that was weird, but I don't really mind that now. I think it's actually rather cutesy and adds heart to it. There's definitely heart to this movie that I appreciate, but I don't know, it's just not one that I feel like watching every year, is what it comes down to. And I know it's one that has become a traditional watch for a lot of people, but I don't know. I don't. And that's what it comes down to. So, overall, I think it's good. I just don't like watching it. And that's like, that's all. So it's hard to rate this one. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. I feel like that's high for me saying like I don't really like it that much, but I think it's a good movie, and it has a lot of good elements to it, and it has great characters and some great beats of comedy throughout it, but it's actually just the horror elements that I don't love in it. So yeah, I mean, 7 out of 10. I guess if you're looking for a good Krampus movie, I recommend this one. And when it comes to Krampus films, it's the one that kind of really started you got a lot of rip-offs and low-budget films that came out as a result of this movie, which is rather funny. I feel like this is like one of the earlier movies because you always have that happen nowadays, where a big budget movie comes out and people rip it off, like Cocaine Bear, which I can't argue. I'm in Crackoon, so I can't like knock on that. But I felt this is like one of the earlier ones I remember that like happening for, where you went to Walmart and there was just all these generic looking Krampus films in the Walmart and stuff like that. But anyway, 7 out of 10 for Krampus. Thank you guys for joining me for day 15 here of my 25 days of Christmas horror, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 16.